back to Panda Family Chat. Today we are back talking about The Resident, episode 2, and I'm your host, Maureen. We're joined with Jeanette.
Hello.
And Amanda.
Hello.
And we're just going to jump right into 2, which was, I feel like 2 was a little more eventful than episode 1.
Mm-hmm. It was.
But I feel like it was more disconnected. Like it felt like we were in the middle of the season already. So I don't know why I felt that way.
Yeah.
Yeah, because we didn't really hear about you know who,
Maybe that's why,
until the very end. And it felt like a normal episode, like a normal case and a new case coming in. And I don't know. I really liked this episode.
I did. Yeah.
Yeah.
I really, really did. I liked seeing Billy and was it Trevor?
Mm-hmm. Trevor.
Is that his name? I didn't realize that was the name. I forgot.
Trevor.
She was kind of a bee to him.
She was. I didn't. Maybe a sour taste.
Unnecessarily mean to him.
She was. I'm like, man, imagine how that makes you feel.
And I feel like if she would have been like non-confrontational with him, and if she would have just accepted that, oh, he has a sick woman that he brought in, oh, he's not stalking me, then I don't think he would have been as confrontational with her.
Maybe. So. I think a lot of it's going to go back to, you can tell like she's not dealt with this trauma at all. And so I think just his whole presence just brings that out in her.
Once whatever it's going to happen to Nick happens to Nick,
that's not going to be good for
Billy,
her.
I think, is going to take that pretty hard. That might give them a segue to do something with that relationship between Billy and Trevor.
Yeah.
I think that AJ is going to have a hand in what happens between her and Trevor.
I was going to say that too. I think that he's going to help facilitate that because he can understand, even though, I know you could tell he felt for Billy in her situation, but he understands where Trevor's coming from because he's been in the same situation. So
yeah, the exact same.
Mm-hmm.
Did you see any? I know, Jeanette, you did.
I did.
Did you see any connection between AJ and Billy?
For me, I saw what you said, but for me at the moment, it just, I can see where it could turn into that, but for me, it just felt like mentor mentee.
Yeah.
I think so.
It might be.
First time I watched it, I didn't notice it. The second time I watched it, maybe I was just overthinking it.
See, I only watched it once, so maybe that was my first time. Maybe the second time I watched it, I'll feel that.
I noticed it the first time, but I don't know. Maybe it's we watch too much Grey's Anatomy and we're just waiting for these relationships.
Everybody's got to have a relationship. Did anyone else notice too what Kit said when they were interviewing that surgeon? Which, by the way, I felt like a needless storyline. But she said, he'll replace Barrett. We've lost Barrett. So that they confirmed that he's gone. Bye-bye.
That's how you get rid of somebody.
Yeah.
You can't do that with Nick, though.
You can't.
You can't. It's not like, we've got to replace Nick somehow because there's no way Nick would do that.
Hear me out.
No.
What if Nick has like postpartum and she was like, she went crazy. She had to like run away because it happens.
Because then we'd also lose Conrad.
Yeah. And she
what
has
do you mean? Yeah. You can't lose Conrad.
No, but then she'll like go away for a little bit and then get better and then come back to them. But obviously that's not how they're playing the world.
Yeah.
Conrad would not let her go off to be by her alone.
Maybe she would go to a treatment center.
Oh yeah. See?
But
I feel like there was better ways to handle this than just
no, but because if you don't kill her off, then she's got an obligation to come back.
Yeah, and see, Emily probably is like, no, I'm not doing this anymore. Plus, we're on season 5. So, I don't see this being a Grey's Anatomy that goes on for 18 years. So, I guess it could, but I don't know.
Look at what Malcolm Jamal Warner has been in. The Cosby Show lasted for a long time.
That's true. And, ER was on a long time. I would love it.
Frasier was on a long time.
Yeah.
Right, maybe.
I'm just naming shows that these actors have been on now. I'm not good. I noticed you were going the medical drama.
More Girls been on for 7.5 years.
Yeah. Oh, can you imagine?
I don't think The Resident will be like a Grey's.
Especially since none of them will be residents anymore. Because Conrad is the resident, the head of residency. So he's got to kind of stay.
They because in other parts of the world, this is called Atlanta
General,
Atlanta General, I think. I mean, unless they want to switch it over to that and then they can carry it over more, I guess. And then they can, switch people up. I mean, they could make it work, but I think you would lose a lot of following.
Mm-hmm.
I think they're aware that I don't think you can change. It'd be different if they started off that way, but if you get people attached to specific characters and you've carried them through for a specific amount of seasons, they're not going to really stay if it starts to becoming too Oliver.
Yeah.
Okay, so we lost Barrett and it was confirmed.
No, darn.
And then obviously Emily's done, Mina's done.
Yeah.
But I think those are the only three who are gone for sure, right?
Mhm.
Yeah.
I mean, that's not a bad turnaround.
No, it's not.
No,
I mean, is Rose gone too, I guess?
I would assume so, since she's probably with Barrett.
Yeah.
Making poor life decisions, Rose. So I'm trying to remember like how it, so I like how they just kind of accepted Layla into the fold of dating Devin.
Yeah.
Like there wasn't even any uncertainty in how they talked to her about Devin. There wasn't anything. So
Yeah.
I'm wondering
think
if they actually came out with it already.
I think they knew because Devin made a comment in the first episode when she was like, I don't want to be the girlfriend. And he was like, you realize people already know about us. I mean, so he kind of made that comment. Like, my guess is people like Irving and, Conrad and everybody, his close friends, they probably knew all about it. And so it wasn't a big thing.
I feel like they knew, but it just wasn't talked about.
Yeah.
I feel like it was kind of like because there was a moment whenever like Leela came in there first and was talking to Irving and Nurse Hundley, and whenever Leela walked off.
Mm-hmm.
Huh?
I don't remember seeing Nurse Hundley at all in this episode.
She was
at the very beginning.
Irving, whenever Leela came in after Devin.
So Layla, I love that when she was going into the room with Devin and Conrad looked at her and smiled. He's like, come with us. Yeah. And allowed her to come in there, and he let her talk as if she was family, and he talked to her as if she was family. And it confused me at first what was going on with Devin when he was seizing. I didn't understand what was going on exactly. And so like, explain to me, what was the stuff that they found, the gas they found, what was it from?
I don't know that they said exactly where it came from.
Yeah, I don't know where exactly it came from yet either.
If they don't explain that, that's going to be a really big fail on their part.
I'm trying to remember.
They said it. They first said carbon monoxide, and they said no, it's not that. And then they said some long word.
It was chlorine sulfate, I thought.
Yeah, that's what it was.
But what was it from though?
I mean,
I know what it is, but I don't know how it got in there.
Didn't Kit say something? Oh, I wish I remembered. I feel like when she was talking, she said something about other hospitals, like something happening. I swear, but I don't remember what it was exactly.
I think that was something else.
Was it something else?
Was she talking about like cleaning products at one point?
She said something. She was talking to Belle, I'm pretty sure.
We gotta look this up.
I know. I'm on it.
Because I was folding clothes while I was doing it. So I watched
it twice.
Well, sometimes this like
yeah, you should know this.
This technical stuff goes over my head sometimes. So sometimes I miss that stuff. I'm like, I don't understand what you're talking about.
My problem is I can't just sit still and watch TV. I have to be doing something else.
Oh, I definitely can.
So
I'm usually on my phone. That's horrible.
I'm usually working on my laptop, or I'm folding clothes, or I'm cleaning a room. It was hydrogen sulfide poisoning in that janitor's closet.
Did it say how?
Well, if it's in the janitor's closet, I think it's from cleaning supplies. So I don't know how. So they found that he had hydrogen sulfide poisoning and he was in the janitor's closet. But I think that they should have explained how it happened, other than just expecting us to believe that it just happened. It was just there. I think that they should have done a better job highlighting what happened and why.
Yeah.
What, Jeanette?
No, I agree. I was gonna say, do we just assume it just spilled or something? I mean, like,
yeah.
Maybe they were storing it.
Yeah, I agree with that. I don't think they did enough good enough job with that. So I think that's the other reason it kind of seemed like a displaced episode, because it seemed like some things were pointless.
Yeah. Well, the nurse. Like, is she okay? I mean, she had a headache from this stuff. Like,
Exactly.
should someone
Yeah,
check on
whatever
her?
happened to
And
everybody
the
else?
person who went home,
Yeah. I mean, they could be passed out at their house all, I mean, you don't know. I mean, it just seems kind of crazy. But maybe once they got out of there, just like the room got vented and that kind of saved the man. So maybe once they got out of the hospital, they were fine.
And they never went in that room.
Mm-hmm.
So maybe.
But I feel like it should have been addressed because
Mhm.
clearly those incidents happened because of the leak.
Yeah.
So,
And to me, it seemed like the only reason for that storyline was to get Leela and Devin to agree to move in together.
yeah.
That seemed like the only reason that they put in it. That's a really big chunk of storyline that you're using for something that you could have been much more easily solved.
I mean, I agree.
So I mean, while I like
unless
the excitement of it, it just didn't fit.
Unless it's setting it up for something else that we don't know about yet.
That's what I'm saying. I hope so, because they did not address it. So if they didn't, they need to, or it's just a filler that they used to move it along.
Yeah.
But I did
Give
really,
them a heart attack of losing Devin. Thanks.
yeah. Thanks for nothing, resident. And in the preview after episode 1, they showed Conrad throwing things against a wall. So we all thought he was mad. We all thought something really bad happened with Devin. And that didn't even happen in this episode. It happens next week when Nick dies.
Yep.
That was crap.
That was mean. That was mean of them to do that.
Mhm. What is that?
What is that?
My grape, it looks like it has a butt.
I'm just gonna say.
Why is it so
These are
long?
whole.
They're moondrop grapes. Where were we?
Oh, I was gonna say I really liked Irving in this episode.
I was so
Ew.
yeah. I mean, we got to see a lot of him, like more than usual, with lots of dialogue, and I was so excited.
It was cracking me up.
Mhm.
I loved how he talked to that to that OD patient.
What did he say? He's like, oh, what did he say? Something about like big surprise or something like
He
that.
said, "Oh, an addict went back on her promise.
Yeah.
Big shock."
Yeah, I loved that because I
And
mean,
then he
it's what
went-
we're all thinking. Like,
But she was like, "I don't like hospitals. They make me uncomfortable, so I'm leaving." And he went, "Honey, I have a sick doctor in the other room, and I am not in the mood today. So you're gonna leave when I damn well say you're gonna leave." And he pushed her back down.
loved it.
I love that.
I loved
side
it
of Irving.
It makes me
Love it.
hopeful that I'm like, are we going to get like, let him get like a storyline? Because I would love to see that.
Mhm.
We've been saying that for a while, that we all want to see more of him and Jessica.
Since the beginning.
And she returns next
I mean, I
week.
feel like he's still, yeah. I mean, even for me, more than her, which I like Jessica. I mean, I love
Mhm.
her. But him, something about him, his very first time he stepped on screen stood
Mhm.
out to me. And I was like, I want more of him. And I don't know what it was, but I always liked him.
I like his presence.
Mhm.
It just, he has that wit
Yeah.
Yeah.
about him that he can look completely serious,
Mhm.
but you still laugh at what comes out of his mouth.
Him and Dr.
I love
Nolan is another one that we're, you know, I
Yes.
mean, like he's another one that I feel like he always, I watch him when he's on screen, even though he
Mhm.
doesn't have a big part. Like, I don't know. I hope we get more of like those players.
The
too,
bit characters.
Mhm.
Yeah.
And I think that this is a good opportunity to do that, at least move a couple of them up, because with Mina gone and Nick gone, now there's a big hole to fill. And I don't think the show needs any more dudes. I think
No.
I think there's a lot of guys. So I think that they either need to bump up some of the current side parts. And I think Irving is a smart choice there, because who doesn't like him? I mean, he's not just a fan favorite in our group, which is over 10,000 members, but he's a fan favorite across the board. And he's got a hilarious personality. And he just, and I keep going back to the scene of him when Jessica, he's versatile, because you go to that scene before he started dating Jessica, he was just this big jokester who always talked about getting sex and, you know, whatever, meeting all these random women, even though I'm pretty sure he never did do that. He just liked to talk about it.
No.
And then you see him meet Jessica and you see her soften him, and then you see her get in that car accident, and you see this whole other side of Irving we haven't been able to see. And you
Yeah.
get that out there, and now you get this seasoned doctor who is more certain of his personality, being with his wife and
Mhm.
having that issue sorted. He's more like, no, I know what's good and what's not, and I know what I want and what I don't want, and that's just it. And I like that surety. That's almost like a Conrad surety.
Mm-hmm.
he's funny.
He is funny. I love it. I mean,
He's hilarious.
You need that in a show, in a medical drama, because
mhm.
as much as it's a medical drama, you can't have it be all drama all the time.
No, you need the lightheartedness too. So,
And he has a significant relationship with every lead on the show because he brings that levity to all of them. So it was nice to see that today or last night or the other night, whenever it aired.
yeah,
Tuesday.
I agree.
Yep. And I'm excited to talk to him again tomorrow.
Mhm.
They don't know we're talking to him yet. On the group they do, don't they?
Well, I just said soon. I didn't tell him when we were talking, I don't think.
Oh, okay. So the drug addict comes in, Trevor comes in, and I was kind of surprised at, like, because I like the look Conrad gave him when he started saying all the things that she took and how this should be happening, this should be doing this.
Mhm.
Yeah.
And Conrad was impressed by him, but I really didn't like how Billy immediately came. Like, I get why,
Yeah.
but it's just an aspect of her character. While it's understandable, I didn't like it. Like,
It didn't
being
bother
raped
me.
at 13 and having a kid and giving up, of course, that's a trauma that's going to change how you interact with whatever forces you to come face to face with that trauma repeatedly. But I
Yeah.
still didn't like it.
But in her defense, just to play devil's advocate, we did not see that exchange that happened when she first met him.
Mhm.
So we don't know how that went down, which may have caused her to
Yeah.
react a certain way to seeing him again. I mean, we don't know how volatile he was, like, because he's obviously, which here's my issue with him. He may not know that she was raped at 13.
He does. She didn't tell him. That was why she didn't want to tell him.
You can look at her and tell that she is a young woman.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Put two and two together that maybe you don't know she was 13, but I feel like you can understand that she was young and that there might be a reason that you don't know about. And I just feel like there should be some compassion on his end too.
Oh,
At least-
I agree with that.
I don't know.
I feel like
He bugged me, I think.
we haven't seen. I feel like he might be around for a while.
Mhm.
I do
I feel like
hope.
he'll be only been a couple.
Yeah. I want them to work it out. And I hope that AJ somehow helps facilitate that, that they can have some sort of relationship.
Yeah, and I mean, he does like medications and stuff. We know we're going to get into big pharma this season. Well, we think maybe
What he was saying that he could do. I mean, I know that it was wrong when he was, making these drugs, but it was really cool. I mean, like to hear, just the ability that he had to be able to do it. Because I mean, he seemed, and I mean, I noticed, even though AJ was like, this is not okay, but almost I noticed a little glimmer of, he was a little impressed. Like,
yeah.
Well, he had the same kind of AJ attitude
mhm.
because he said, listen, my science works. I didn't do anything wrong. And it's not my drugs. And that's an AJ attitude. AJ's like, no, these hands are gold. It's not my mistake.
Yeah. So I think there's potential in that kid in being able to do something great with the skills that he has.
I might be the odd person out that hopes that Billy doesn't have a relationship with this kid because she was raped at 13 and this is the result. So I don't really want her to have a relationship with him. But I hope that through this process, I hope that AJ helps them to heal from deal with the trauma of what they both went through.
Yeah.
I don't want her to have a continued relationship with him because I think that's, no matter how much healing you do, they're looking at that day after day after day, knowing that he's the product of someone who forcefully raped you when you were 13 is, I think that she should tell him that so he can understand and have some compassion. I think once she tells him, then there will be a healing to that trauma and he won't force a relationship then because he'll understand, hopefully.
Yeah.
I mean, I guess we'll kind of see how they play it out. I mean, maybe it's going to be the best for her. If they do plan on going that way, maybe.
I think they're going to have her deal with the trauma because I think that's the only way that she's going to evolve at all. Or she's going to be stuck.
I mean, maybe he'll help her heal in some way. I mean, I think he has a lot of potential to stay on the show for a while.
I agree with that though.
I think so.
Yeah. Because I think he can benefit the hospital and I think he can benefit the other people. I just hope that I hope it's not like, oh mom, oh son. I don't want them to have that kind of relationship ever.
I don't think I want that kind of relationship, but I think it would be nice if they could.
We're friendly.
Yeah. And maybe even, I don't know. I mean, keep up with each other without being like coming over for Sunday dinner every week. I mean, I don't necessarily want that, but I think I don't know.
Yeah. Just some sort of relationship, even
if it's just more of like, they're just friends, like it's just a friendly relationship, I think that's what I hope for.
Yeah, I would like to see her not come at him every time he comes into the building.
Yeah. And ditto for him, because I feel like he did the same thing. So I mean, it would be
But I
nice.
don't think he did that until she attacked him, even when because she could see he was there with somebody.
Yeah.
There was clearly someone in the bed that he was looking at, that he was focused on.
Mhm.
She pulled him away from her bedside to say, why are you following me here?
Yeah.
Yeah, which was not right.
But like I said, because we didn't see that exchange that happened initially,
Mhm.
we don't know how that went down. There may have been a reason why she was so, I don't know, volatile when she had the
Confrontational?
car. Yeah. I mean, I
Well,
feel like
I
there
mean,
might be
honestly,
more to it.
even if he wasn't volatile with her, and even if he didn't, he wasn't confrontational in that conversation, I can still understand why she'd have that reaction.
Yeah.
I mean, still raped at 13, product of your rape and abuse that destroyed your entire life
Yeah.
right in front of you. I mean, I get why she reacted that way no matter what. I just didn't think, I think that as a someone who's working in a professional capacity,
Yeah.
in a hospital, you have to assess the situation first, figure
Mhm.
out what it's about, and then make a decision. And I think Billy is new to this because she's used to working in like grassroots medical.
Yeah.
So she's having a little bit of trouble reining in her emotions and separating them from her work.
Yeah.
Which is going to be
Yeah.
interesting to see how it plays out next week with Nick's death.
Hmm.
Mm,
I'm not ready.
I
It
know.
makes me like depressed just even thinking about it.
I'm
You
not
notice
ready.
that's the one thing we haven't really discussed yet.
You know.
That's because we're gonna skirt around it. And for the
What
whole-
about Kit and Belle? We should talk about them real quick.
Yes.
Before we move
Happy
on.
things first.
Yes, let's get all the happy things out of the way and just.
He was so cute when he went to apologize to her.
I
just
loved
love
it
that.
when he was like, "I won't ask you out anymore." And she's like, "Oh, that's a shame because I was going to see what you were doing for dinner." You know.
I know.
And he was
Yeah.
real. He was quick to respond. Oh yeah, let's do that. You know, like it was adorable.
Do you think she turned him down so she could be the one to ask him to dinner?
I think she was just hesitant at first. I don't think it was. I don't know. Or maybe she was telling the truth. It had just really been a long day.
Yeah.
You know, and she just. I don't know. But you know, I know we all commented on the promo shot that has Nick's dad. What's his name? Why am I
Marvin
blanking?
Brewster? Kyle.
Yeah.
Kyle.
And somebody, I think it was you, Amanda, that said, "Oh, notice Kit's wearing the same shirt."
Yeah.
My first thought was, "Oh man, her and Belle didn't get their date after all."
They probably did. I'm willing to bet because Conrad was already at home, was already
Yeah.
making dinner, was already doing all this stuff, and he came back in the same shirt. So they probably were
Maybe.
in the middle of dinner, or they
Uh-huh.
just finished dinner and they got called to the hospital.
Yeah, maybe. That's
Because
what
you
I was
know, if it was
thinking.
Nick,
Huh.
they were going to call everybody who knew her back.
Yeah,
Could be.
We're not talking about that right now.
I
That's
know.
coming at the
sorry.
end. Can't do it. Nope.
It was valid.
I'm
I
not ready,
do-
guys.
I do like too that she was. This is another thing that was seemed weird. Like the hiring of that surgeon just felt like a weird filler. It
Mhm.
felt like a weird vehicle again, just to solidify a relationship with someone else. Like it could have been done in smarter ways. I thought that was a weird way to do it because that dude's only purpose seemed to be so that Belle could call his friend and be the savior to Kit and be like, "Oh, don't hire that guy."
Yeah.
But there was better ways that you could have shown that he cared for her and was willing to protect her skin, rather than a completely useless storyline with a completely useless character that we're never going to see again.
Right.
And I would say we might see him again, but the way that ended, I doubt we didn't even get to see him be told no.
Yeah.
So I doubt we're ever seeing that guy again.
Probably not.
So it was just, it would be different if he was like a patient in the hospital being treated. I mean, those people come and go constantly.
Mhm.
But
Yeah.
trying to find someone to replace Barrett Kane, and he's a non-essential character who's inconsequential, who we're never going to see again, just feels weird.
And I don't even know if we even needed to talk about Barrett's replacement because I mean I know Billy's only probably still a resident, but she's still a neuro resident. Just she'll do most of the stuff. You know, I mean it's okay.
Well, I
So-
mean, they need two though, most likely. Gotta have more than one neuro. In a hospital that big, I would assume they have to have at least
We
someone
wouldn't
who's
have to
available
see them because we've only got one cardio right now. I mean,
It's true.
which is AJ because Mina left. So
Oh yeah.
because Belle's more of a general surgeon, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
I think so. Or was he a specialist surgeon?
I think he's a general surgeon.
Because I feel like he's done a lot, but I feel like they've all done a lot of surgeries and aren't
Yeah.
related to their field.
They always jump in and help the other ones, right? I wonder if it's really like that in a hospital. That's what they do on Grey's Anatomy too, but
I don't think so.
I don't think it is either. I just always wondered about that.
Like, because on my doctor's site, he has to say that this is the one surgery he's able to do, and that's what he's capable of doing, the C-sections.
Mhm.
Like, he has to list that this is the one I'm capable of doing. He doesn't help with any other ones other than that.
Yeah.
You have to help where you're qualified to help.
Yeah.
Right.
He's a general surgeon.
Okay. That's what I
Even with
thought.
surgical techs, like they have to have a background in whatever surgery is going into.
Mhm.
But I think that with Kit and Belle, that when he told her, like, it was interesting how it happened at the end of the day. When I don't remember how she started the conversation, but I think she was asking how the day was, and he was like, "Oh, it was really great." And she's like, "Oh, speaking of, we're gonna hire that guy?" And he's like, "Oh no, don't hire him." But just the way he said it so offhandedly with a smile, like he'd been having such a great day, and this was still great, even though this guy's not a replacement. It made me laugh. His character surprised me at that arc.
Mhm.
Because Belle is now one of my favorite characters. And at the beginning, I wanted him taken off the show.
Yeah.
It's because of Kit. I feel like she has brought out what's good in him.
I think it has a lot to do with Conrad, though, too.
Well, yeah.
Yeah.
Conrad let him get away with nothing. And I think also the Lane Hunter thing scared him, because while Belle was a bad guy in that he was killing people on the operating table, he didn't go in there to kill them.
Right.
He generally thought he was untouchable because he thought, there's no way I'm better than this. I'm bigger than this disease. I'm not going to shake him. I can mentally will it away. So he actually thought he was good enough that he could will it away. And that's why he killed people. Whereas Lane Hunter was intentionally poisoning and killing people. And I think
Right.
that kind of shocked Belle out of a stupor of, what am I becoming? On top of Conrad constantly telling him, look, you're the bad guy.
Yeah.
And
I
I
mean,
don't
we
think
can
he
see
wanted to
really
be a
good
bad guy.
change after Lane.
Mhm. Yeah.
Like, that was his turning point. So I think it had a lot to do with his
Yeah.
turnaround.
And
which-
then Kit came on, and Kit helped facilitate him to stay in the right direction, and was there to constantly say, don't be an idiot.
yeah.
I love that about her. I want to be Kit Voss's friend.
Yeah.
Speaking of, did you guys just hear that? It's like a banshee scream.
Oh no.
My house did fall apart, so I'm gonna say it's safe. But there is that scene where she was saying how the whole episode kind of focused on how she didn't want to be a part of the bureaucratic mess, how she didn't want to be in these meetings, how she didn't want to do this, she didn't want to do that. I'm wondering if that's a foreshadowing of a sort, where she's going to eventually hit a place where there's too much red tape and she won't do it anymore.
Yeah.
Or if she's going to revolutionize how the hospital is run, because she finds that all needless and useless, to an extent.
I hope it's that, because
Mhm.
otherwise, I mean, you should have known when you take over a CEO position. I mean, that's sort of what this entails.
Yeah.
I mean,
Yeah.
I don't know.
And that hospital needs Kit Voss.
Mhm.
Yes.
They need her to be running that show.
Mhm.
I want her to stay there. She just got to be CEO pretty much. To me, she just got handed this. They can't already give up on her this fast.
Yeah,
That
I
won't be
agree.
fair.
Mhm.
Really, in nowadays, like the way the world is right now, being a woman and like chief,
Mhm.
I mean, they can't take that away from her and give it away right now. That would be bad publicity.
Yeah. No, I hope we keep her there a while.
Unless she doesn't want it.
But even then, I don't want her to like give it up either, because I feel like she wanted it so bad. And then to change her mind that fast, I don't know. Would bug me, I think. I don't know.
I don't know. They just the way they are going about it.
Mhm.
Well, I think of this group that we support. It's called Operation Underground Railroad, and it's a child sex trafficking. We give to them every month to help facilitate the stopping of that. And this guy who started actually used to work for the government doing this, but there was too much bureaucratic red tape, and he couldn't do how he wanted to do it. He couldn't save who he wanted to save, so he left his position in the government and he started this company, Operation Underground Railroad, and now he runs it without all the red tape they have to go through, because he's a private company. And
Yeah.
I'm wondering if something similar is going to happen with Kit, because she wants this job because she knows she can do it. She's good at it.
Mhm.
She is awesome at facilitating people, of hiring people, of knowing who's good and who's bad, of understanding the ins and outs of what's good. I wonder if she could be potentially moved into a startup for another hospital. But of course, Chastain is like the big deal of the show, and everything's about saving this hospital.
Yeah.
But part of me wonders if maybe that's end game for the show, like in the end series, the end of the series, if that's going to be something that they're going to work towards, is her branching off to either do, I don't want to say private practice because she's a surgeon, but maybe a startup of a private hospital or even a public hospital that she could work at something. I don't know.
I don't know, because Chastain was private, and look how messy that was for 4 of our years.
Yeah,
I mean, look at the corrupt people who are running it though.
Yeah, but I mean, where is she going to get that funding? The funding has to come from somewhere. So she can't just be her.
I think though that kid has a good sense of who's good and who's not. Even with Barrett, when he tried to come back, and it was, I don't think you're ready to come back. I don't think I'm going to like you, so you're going to be on probation, and that's how it is. And she's not afraid to turn, even with public funding, she's not afraid to turn it down if she doesn't think it's worthy enough. If she doesn't think the people are, or the motivation or whatever is worthy enough. And I think that she has a good knack for reading who's worthy and who's not. I'm not saying it will happen. It's just, that's the kind of boss I see her as, is just someone who is not going to tolerate not being able to save as many lives as she needs to because of the bureaucratic red tape.
Right. No, I agree.
So we talked about Trevor. We talked about Billy and Trevor. We didn't really talk a lot about Devin and Leela. Like at all.
Unfortunately, there wasn't. I feel like there wasn't
that much.
Say, I thought there was going to be a lot, but then there was.
Because they talked about him like the whole like he didn't get better until like near the end of the episode. But they weren't featured a lot, other than at the end, like Leila said, "I'm not leaving his side now or ever." And I like that she showed that gumption of, no, we're moving in together. I don't care if he wants it. This is what we're doing.
Yeah.
Well, it was Devin's idea, so I mean, she knew he was gonna like it.
Yeah.
But still,
I also like though when he got to see that patient, and that patient, like they mentioned, that he saved his life, and I thought that was a really nice moment.
I did too. I love
and
that.
that patient helped him remember. Sorry, Amanda, go ahead.
No, that was all I was gonna say.
Said what you wanted to say too. I interrupted you and I stole what you were gonna say.
Oh, ditto.
There you go.
Oh no, I'm out of water.
I do like that they explained that about the vents, because that was my first thought when Connor went down there. Same amount of time Devin was in the room before he passed out.
I thought that too, and I was really confused. I was like, what is going, but that makes sense. He flipped the vent. So
yeah. And did you have kind of like a panic moment when you saw Conrad go down there? I was like, no, stop.
Don't go in there. Like I thought he was just going to open the door and then see and then go get help. But then when he actually went in the room, I was like, no, don't do that. Don't do that.
See, I saw him go in the room. I'm like, it's fine. It's Conrad. He's going to prop that door open with something. And the door closed. And then I was like, what? No, wait.
And then
I had full confidence and he was going to be better and smarter and do things differently. And he did it the exact same as Devin did it.
Except for he flipped the vent. So he did do that. So everything was.
Devin was smarter, actually, because Conrad didn't even think about that. He just went to get the patient out.
Well, you saw him. He looked at the vent and he could hear it.
Yeah.
And that's why he went in that room. And then they focused in on the vents.
Yeah.
When
I saw them focusing on the vents. Yeah.
I didn't get why though. I think I was thinking like it was showing it blowing in there or something. Like
that's what I thought.
That's what I was thinking was happening. I was like, what is it? Why is it blowing? Why is it coming through the vents?
What do we need to know about this room?
Yeah. I was really confused.
So I was glad that they pulled it. See, that part they did right. They went back in and they explained it all.
Yes.
I liked that. And I like that. I mean, I prefer when shows show and don't tell. And I like that they did that because they did show us, but they showed us in a way that we couldn't understand. So we needed both. And I like that they did both.
Yeah.
Yeah. Because if not, I mean, look how much we really rip these shows apart.
I know.
I mean,
how many times have we said, but we really do love the residents?
We do though.
We really do. I mean, but we're also, I mean, the biggest fans should be the biggest critics as well.
Yeah.
I mean, that's the only way. I mean, they're not going to listen to us, but that's the only way they're ever going to get better here. Come on.
And it's what we do. This is what our podcast does, is we overanalyze absolutely every aspect of every show that we watch.
We only talk about these shows because we absolutely love them.
Yeah.
Or we wouldn't have them as groups and join them and do all this stuff.
We're like that invested that we have to pick it apart because
exactly. So for you people listening and for any cast or crew that's listening to this, when we start a group, it's because we become so obsessed with the show that we need to find other people to talk about it with other than just this group of people. And we want to highlight the characters and we want to highlight the actors, and we have this like burning need to obsess over you on a very large scale.
Some
And
of us
that
have
may
more
scare
burning
you,
needs
and you may
than
think,
others.
I'm never going to talk to these people. Don't let it scare you. Let it be seen as
No.
the sign of devotion and
We're
love to your.
cool.
It's not even about you. It's about your characters.
Exactly.
Don't be weirded out.
We don't really care, like, you know, who your fling is this week.
Yes.
We really don't care.
I mean,
But
I
we
would be
do
really
care
upset
who
if
your
Matt Zuckery
character's
died.
fling is.
Exactly.
What'd you say?
I would care if Matt Zuckery died. Okay, I
would-
would care. I would be very
yes.
sad.
I
That
would
would upset
cry.
me. But
Yeah.
I would feel more sad if Conrad Hawkins died. That sounds mean, but only because I know Conrad Hawkins more than I know Matt Zuckery.
That's true. That's true. I can understand that.
I don't know, because to me, if Matt died, then we lost not only Matt, but we lost
Yeah, so I would be
the
doubly
future
sad.
of Logan.
Logan
lost
Huntsberger.
Conrad.
Stop it. That's going too far. I
would
am
put
sorry
me
I ever
into-
made this comparison.
I would be in a depressive state at that point.
You
in
thought
time.
she was bad with DeLuca.
Can't handle it. No.
I don't want to talk about this anymore.
Moving on. Let's just talk about Nick dying
Why
then.
did I do? Stop.
I mean,
Oh my
I
god.
think that's all we have left, though.
We
It
have
is.
to laugh or we're gonna cry.
we got to do it, guys.
Okay, so they were really twisting the knife in with this Nick thing, though.
Yep.
They were really twisted in there. First of
the
all,
picture.
yes, that I think upset me more than anything. But when
Really?
yes, like with the texting back and forth, let me know I'm going home. Welcome home. I made dinner. Hope let us know when you're gonna be here. And then first of all, the doorbell rings and he looks at Gigi. He's like, "Mama's home." Like,
I'm like, why would she ring the doorbell?
that was my thought. Like you just had to tell the kid her mom was home over something as
Unless
weird as a
he
doorbell
thought-
being rung.
Her hands were full because sometimes when I got my hands full with groceries or something, I might do the doorbell, like come open it.
What
for
kind
me.
of spot did he send her to?
Well, maybe she's got a lot of bags. I don't know.
She's like Lorelai Gilmore or Ross Geller, who gets his money back but to keep everything in the hotel. She's got bags of toilet paper and hotel
You
soap,
never know.
light bulbs.
The Bibles.
But they even said like they did it all through the episode. Like when he drops her off at daycare and he was like, "Ooh, no crying. Wait till we tell mom or
Mommy's
something
coming
like
home
that."
tonight.
I'm like, "Oh,
I didn't
no,
catch
she's
that part.
not. She's
Stop
not
it.
coming home."
We know. Everybody knows she's dying. Can we just stop?
And was it just me, or when he was walking through behind that wall when they showed the picture of Nick and him on their wedding day, did they slow it down to go past
yeah.
that picture? Like,
Yeah.
Yeah.
That or my eyes slow down. One of the two.
Because every single part of our faculties just went really in slow-mo.
Like I thought it was gonna be this episode. Like I thought we were gonna get it done.
Yes, because we saw
Dragging
him
it
throwing
on.
computers in the preview for it.
Yep.
And then it didn't happen. I was like, that was a good episode, but man, I'm disappointed we didn't get this over with because
Well,
I want it over with. Like I know it's coming. I'm tired of the
Mhm.
draw out. Just kill her and let's start the healing process and get back to normal.
just kill her already.
Well, I mean,
Right.
what's gonna happen?
I
I'd
agree.
rather just rip the band-aid off.
And we start every episode like this is gonna be the one. This is gonna be it. And we can't. It's hard to focus on the other stories because we're just waiting for the moment when Conrad's
It's-
entire world is gonna fall apart.
Maureen, I think you're going to be right. I bet she doesn't officially die next episode either. I bet we drag it on one more.
I wonder though, because he's told at the end of episode 2 she's been in an accident. So
Yeah.
the entire next episode is going to be Nick in the hospital. If
If
they
it-
try
is
throwing
it
other
her?
characters in there, I'm going to be ticked off.
Is it her?
Yeah, she said that she would be back for one episode to close out her character, I think.
Oh, okay. I didn't know if it was actually going to be
I'm
her.
fairly certain it is, yeah. I don't think they can give her a send-off that the viewers need without having her actually there.
That's why I was wondering how they were
And
gonna do-
honestly, that was probably the first scene. That was probably the first episode that they filmed so that she could be off on her way. Especially if they started in July. That's probably the first one they filmed. They
Yeah.
probably didn't edit it fully until the other two were done, but I
don't
would
know. When
imagine
did
that
she have a
anything
baby?
that she was going to be in, they cut her out, or they filmed it so she could just duck out.
When did she have that baby?
July, August.
So she would have been like 9 months pregnant if they filmed them in July.
I don't remember when she had her baby though. She might have had it before then. I think it was just announced in like mid-July.
Yeah, I don't know.
Baby.
But I honestly don't think they have another choice but to put Emily Van Camp in that bed. Because
No.
we're not idiot. You can't robot baby Nick Nevin. You
I
can't.
don't know. They did it for Meredith Grey. When she
They
had
can't
her
do that with Nick
COVID.
Nevin. Not after we spent so much time complaining about robot baby. There's no way. I'm gonna revolt if they robot baby her. That's like an adjective now or a verb.
Robot baby. Just don't zoom. If they do, just please don't zoom in on her face. Like, just keep it at a distance then. Did you all see like his face and when he opened the door and he just saw
I don't
them?
want to talk about the face.
It's like he knew instantly.
Yeah, and it was because when he peeked his head around the window and he saw it, like I couldn't even control it. Like I was instantly crying, like oh.
I didn't cry yet, but I guarantee I will.
The moment I saw him recognize the cops at the door, I started to cry.
His face, his facial expressions, that very minimal little twitches he started to do. I was just like, oh gosh, oh no.
I'm trying to like repress it right now, but it's like right at the verge.
Oh, it's rough. I mean, I was like, oh my gosh, this is awful.
This is not gonna be fun.
Matt Zucri does sad and grief-stricken
so good,
so flipping well.
But
it's just gonna destroy everyone.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
And honestly, I don't think he's the only one on that show you're in a medical drama.
Yeah.
Okay, she surprised fans on Thursday, August 26th with the news that she had a baby. But I don't know that was when she had the baby.
Yeah.
Who knows? I guess we'll wait till next week and see what they do. Because there in the preview, I couldn't tell. I mean, I could just see blonde, but I couldn't tell, like, are we actually going to see a face or?
Yeah, it just looked like it was from a distance, which if that's the case, it could be anybody, you know?
Yeah.
And so, I think in the last, because no one knew she was pregnant at all.
Right.
Like she kept them all private. No one knew. So I think when she filmed the last episode of The Resident, she was pregnant, and that's why we never saw her out of the bed. And it would make sense that she was pregnant in the show, and they probably utilized some of her real stomach in that.
Yeah.
So she could have been more pregnant than we know. But I don't know which one of us brought it up, not us three, but in our group, brought up that they think, was it Eve that thought that maybe Conrad would have to be forced to pull the plug?
Shelby.
I'm gonna hate it if they do that to him.
I bet they do.
I'm thinking too, though.
It makes sense for them to do that, but I'm gonna hate it so much.
Yeah.
This is my thing. Like, freaking pull the Band-Aid off. Just get it over with. Don't draw it out. Because
I mean, I don't want him to have to pull the plug. I would rather her have just been dead from the car accident.
Yes.
And not stuck in some sort of bed with brain injuries.
The only reason I think they're doing this is to say goodbye.
Yeah.
Is to get in that goodbye, which I feel like just makes it harder.
Well, think about this too, because we're probably, if he's gonna have to pull the plug, it's probably because she's brain dead. So who's gonna have to probably determine that? Her best friend Billy.
Yep.
So there's another blow that's gonna be awful.
Yeah.
Wait, what? What was that?
Because I mean, if he's gonna have to pull the plug, she's probably likely brain dead from her injury. Well, who's the neurosurgeon that's gonna have to like tell you that's her best friend?
I just hope that she dies before anyone has a chance to operate on her or have to pull the plug. I hope she dies quickly. But if Conrad has
that bedside,
I know that's why it makes sense, because he even is talking, like it looks like someone's asking him a question. He's saying, I can't, she's the pillar of our family or something like that. But if he pulls that plug, it is going to be like 3 times as long before the end of this is the end of it.
Yeah.
Because it's going to destroy him even more than just her death in the bin.
Yeah.
And he's already going to have a lot of guilt from sending her to the spa and insisting she stay and not letting her say goodbye to Gigi.
Yeah. And no, I feel like they should have done this differently. I really do. To me, there's too much blame being put on Conrad. Not really that it's his fault at all. We know that. But I feel like, they're they're given too many ways he can blame himself.
Mm-hmm.
You know, why do we have to punish Conrad this much? Because Emily wants to leave the show.
Yeah. But I think too that Matt Zuckery, I think I read, or I think I saw an interview with him once where he was saying that he really likes to dig into these roles that allow him to do this. So I think he probably really likes the idea of playing, and especially after the half a season that we got where he was docile and happy and chill, and this is going to bring a whole nother dimension to his acting credentials that, you know, he's got to dig into.
And I mean, like, if he knocks us out of the park, like we're pretty sure he will, and it's a great storyline like this, then he may set him up for some sort of Emmy or something, you know? I mean, like, because we know he's going to be great at it. I don't know.
Oh, man.
What would have been better is if at the spa they had some sort of medical thing that you could take, and of course Nick would have never done it. That's why it's going to suck. But if they had like some sort of medical thing that you could take, and that's what caused the accident, or maybe the person that was driving who hit her was in it, and it was that big pharma company that Conrad ended the last season with being angry at, and then he would have another vendetta to fight against them.
That would have been
Because
good.
I don't just want this season to be him filled with grief, because he's going to have a lot of that. I think Conrad is going to need a fight.
Yeah.
Yeah. We're going to have to get his mind off of Nick. But I mean, we're going to have time lapse, aren't we?
Maybe. I mean, they did that with Glee, but I mean,
think
that was the actor that died. So
Yeah. I think they probably will. I mean, at least maybe not a lot.
Not like a huge gap, but like
Yeah.
maybe
Just enough.
a few months.
Well, I think it might be good too, especially to get Devin back on his feet from his injuries. Like, you know, I mean, at least a little bit of time to bounce back.
I think we're going to see that in next week's though.
No, not necessarily.
I think next week is going to be the cast, and especially with the atmosphere that everyone we've interviewed has said this cast and the set is like, and the outcry and outpour of love from the fans to Emily Van Camp's character. I think that they're going to spend all of next episode with everybody saying goodbye to her.
Yeah.
I think Kyle's going to be there. I think that's why Nurse Jessica comes back in episode 3.
Mm-hmm.
I think all of these, Nurse Hunley and all these people that Nick has helped, I think there's going to be a parade of goodbyes in different ways throughout the episode.
My goodness.
Yeah, I think it's going to be like, this is us kind of cry.
I'm going to need a bottle of wine for that episode, I think.
I'm already getting emotional. This is
I
not
know.
good.
And this is how we end it, people. We have nothing else to talk about. That's it.
No, that's it. We're going to go ahead and just leave them on a depressed note here.
We're not even going to do our closing. It's just, all right, curtain, done.
Bye.
Bye.
We're too depressed.
I think it would be really great, though, to have Matt Zuckery come on this show and talk about what it was like to dig into that.
I would agree with that.
Come on, Matt.
I mean, we've got other things we can talk about it too, but I'd really like to be in his headspace
Yeah.
about how he digs into it. Because this entire show has been Conrad proving how much he loves Nick over and over and over again.
Yep.
What he would do to keep her safe, how much he would be willing to die to save her.
Yep.
Over and over and over again. So this whole show is kind of built on the love story of Conrad and Nick. So he has to get in some intense space to pull up the kind of grief that is required of this role for him.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Definitely.
And I think what we saw with Irving and Jessica, it was just, I mean, Tasso, that's really hard for a Northerner to say, like Tanya.
Tasso?
Super hard to say. It's easier for you Southerners, but it's not easy for me.
So you can say Tanya.
But not Tasso. That makes no, it's the
Tasso.
opposite. It makes no sense.
I didn't
Say
say
Tasso like to do Tanya.
I didn't say that it made sense for everybody. Have you met a Midwesterner?
We
We don't
can't
make a whole lot of
say
sense.
Tanya, but we can
Hey, one of
say
my best friends is
Tasso.
from Wisconsin.
Because 90% of the people up here who have the name Tanya are T-O-N. So when you see T-A-N, it's just natural that it's Tanya because you're used to T-O-N.
Well, we know we
Although that
have
would be Tanya.
Tanya too.
Yeah.
We have both.
We don't. But I think that when we see Tasso and him doing that role, I think that he did a fantastic job. But the length of time that he had with Jessica is nothing compared to the length of time that Conrad had with Nick. because
And they have
a history.
They have a child too, which makes it a whole new.
I don't want to think about it.
Because I mean, not only are you thinking about your grief, that you're thinking about the fact that your child is going to, and both Conrad and Nick have lost their mothers.
Yeah.
So for them to sit, for him to think about how his daughter has now lost her mother, it's awful. And I think I've made Maureen cry, so I'm sorry for that.
Oh, talking about cry. We're all going to be boohooing next week.
It hasn't even happened yet.
So tune in for next week, guys. It's going to be a blast.
The next podcast is going to be so horrible.
I'm not even on that one, and I don't know how I'm not going to be.
We're just going to sit there and cry the entire episode.
I think because here's the thing, though. I think, oh my gosh, it's like, it's real. Like,
You got real tears, people.
This is how invested we are.
It is.
Oh my God.
I should have mentioned the kids. It's always a blow. Sorry.
What did you do, Mom?
I'm sorry.
All right, guys. So that's the end of our episode recap of The Resident. And hopefully you're the right amount of sad about it. And we are sort of excited to recap next week's episode. And sort of really, really not excited to recap next week's episode. So next week, we're going to do it a little differently. We're going to allow some more of our admin team on so we can all weep and wail and sob together.
Mm-hmm.
So tune in for that, because it'll be a hoot to listen to a bunch of people cry over a fictional character. It won't really be that bad. We'll talk about, I'm sure they'll have returns of other characters that we can talk about next week.
Mm-hmm.
So if you need to process with us, and even if you just want to laugh at people who are in pain, I mean, whatever floats your boat, tune in next week as we talk about episode 3. You can email us at oh my gosh, what's our email?
Family Fan Club 2021 at gmail.com.
I've been doing fandom family chats lately for our email. I can't figure out why it keeps going wrong.
Nope. Family Fan Club.
Jeez, I created the email. Why don't I know what it is?
I don't know. I got your back.
So you can email us at familyfanclub2021 at gmail.com if you want to talk to us about this episode, or really talk to us about anything. If you think that if you want to see us do something different, let us know that too. We want your feedback. We want to know if we're doing something you enjoy, if we're doing something that you wish we weren't doing, or, we'd like feedback on what you want to hear, because we're fans just like you. And really this podcast is just a tool for us to reach our members in a better way, in a more communicative way, and in just an all around more involved way. So we want to do what you want us to do. And on that note, if you have not subscribed or shared our episodes or download our episodes or watched our episodes yet, and this is your first one, please go back and watch them. The more subscribers we get, the more video downloads we get, the more we can give you content that you want to see, the more content that you want to be a part of. And the more we get, the more we can interact with you on a tangible way, like running prizes and contests and sending you things and things of that nature. So make sure you're doing that. If you have a friend who likes any one of the shows we do, let them know about it, because we have 58 other episodes that are still out that will always be available on all of the shows we have groups of, and those shows you can find in any of our links. If you want to find us on Instagram, Instagram and Twitter is a variation of FB Family Fan Clubs. TikTok, same thing, FB Family Fan Clubs. And our Facebook group for The Resident is The Resident Chastain Family Fan Club. And we also have a podcast page on Facebook that is Fandom Family Chats. We need to really stop adding things so we don't have to give you guys a 5 million long list of things that you can look up. But there you go. If you forget these, which I bet you will, they will all be in the podcast description. Also check out YouTube if you prefer to look at it there. That's fine too. So on that note, we will see you on Wednesday for Grey's Anatomy, and hopefully cry along with you for The Resident on Sunday. Bye guys. We'll see you in a week.
Bye.
Bye.